Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and welcome to day 73 of our 100-day countdown to the best version of ourselves in the new year. I'm so glad you're here. Today I wanted to talk about eating disorders versus disordered eating. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. Eating disorders are very common in terms of the definition. So they're largely anorexia, which is reducing your food to nothing, bulimia, which is consuming large quantities of food and then purging or vomiting it up, and the other less popular, but or less spoken about, I would say, is bulimia-rexia, which is where people will exercise excessively to work off whatever food they consumed. So those are considered standard eating disorders, and they're supposed to be treatable, but they're considered a psychological disorder. Disordered eating, though somewhat similar, are kind of less known, but people aren't as willing to recognize them as a problem. And I'm going to read a couple of them. I pulled it up. So some of the symptoms of disordered eating are frequent dieting, anxiety associated with specific foods or meal skipping, chronic weight fluctuation, rigid rituals and routines surrounding food and exercise. That interested me. Feelings of guilt and shame associated with eating. Hello. Preoccupation with food, weight, body image that negatively impacts quality of life. A feeling of loss of control around food, including compulsive eating habits. And then finally, the overlap is using exercise, food restriction, fasting, or purging to make up for bad foods that were consumed. So when you think of them that way, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to be categorized and that everybody has a problem. A lot of people can adapt to a new, way of eating, such as veganism, and not have any form of a disorder or obsession. But I think with someone like me, where you already come from obsessions and eating disorders, I tried anorexia nervosa, and I was really good at it. I got crazy thin for being 5'7". I did bulimia, but hated it. It hurt a lot, and I can't stand vomiting. And then, of course, I was amazing at compulsive overeating and happily put on 150 pounds, which was a lot of effort and a lot of responsibility and insanely uncomfortable. So I kind of did all of those. I'm happiest now as a vegan, and I'm more happy than ever when I choose to be raw vegan because, as I suggested, it just doesn't provoke me. Eating fruit and vegetables, never gives me, it doesn't really give me any anxiety, except for sometimes, just like regular food, I will overeat. I will overeat my number of bananas, or I'll overeat my quantity. I kind of like it because you can have a large quantity, but calorie for calorie, it doesn't put on the weight that the standard American diet does, but it's still very gamey for me. I kind of have to watch it. And yet I refer to myself as feast or famine because I will get super controlling. Where it said rigid rituals and routines surrounding food and exercise, and also preoccupation with food, weight, and body image that negatively impacts your quality of life, I get that. I totally get that because I will just not want to go anywhere, and I've got to have my food just right, and I don't care how tired I am. I have to exercise my 21 minutes, and I'll get really obsessed and crazy. So I think part of it is because I already have a compulsive background. I already have an addictive personality, and I apply that to anything. I just thank God that today my application is to healthier food through vegan and raw vegan lifestyle. What's your thoughts on any of that? I don't know if it applies to you. It's just more of self-awareness, but I wanted to share. So I hope you're well. Share in the comments below, and until we talk again, be blessed.